I have meditated daily for around 6 years. And I'm here to tell you with pure confidence, it's not what you think. It's not peace. It's not bliss. It's heartbreak. It's painful. It's honest. And it's filled with humility. While meditating, I've had moments of heartbreaking heartbreak. I've had moments of pure honesty of the man I am. I have cried like I've never cried before in my life. And I'm here to tell you, this is what you want. It may not seem like what you want, but I promise you, this is what you want. But Jonathan, why in the world would I want that? Well, I'm glad you asked. Having an established practice of meditation is the single most best thing I've ever done for myself. It is the single most best thing I've ever done for my spiritual journey and my own personal growth. And I'm going to tell you a side of it that I have never in my entire life heard anyone share about it before. Usually they say, oh, I meditate to get some peace in my daily life, to release from stress. I'm going to tell you the exact opposite. I did it to get stress. No, of course not. I'm going to tell you a version that is way more honest, way more down to earth, and that you can actually use for something. But in order to really express the impact of meditation, I will have to take you with me on a little journey to the past. We are gonna go to my youth, my young days, when I was young and living in Copenhagen, the good old days. It was a time full of secrets, a time full of lies, a time full of dishonesty. It was hard to feel anything. I was drowning in an anxiety. I was absolutely drowning in an anxiety in this part of my life. I was so caught up in my own self-importance. I was full of pain, I was full of secrets, I was lying all of the time. And most importantly, I hurt all of the ones that I loved. All of the people around me, no matter who they were, I hurt them, and I hurt them bad. And those dearest to me, I hurt the most. Of course, that's how it goes. So then I found meditation. Meditation came to me in a day between Christmas and New Year's in 2019. I find this book and I open it up, and the page that I open up to is a page of a monk, a Danish monk called Swami Yanakananda, and he's meditating. And my heart was beating like a calling. I knew what I had found here. So how did I go from a life of dishonesty, a life of lies, and a life of hurting everyone around me into a life of honesty, a life of truth, and a life of giving a lot of joy and a lot of love to the people around me? Beautiful journey, and the journey in itself can be a time for another video. But how did meditation benefit me in this way, you're asking? When we're sitting and meditating, what are we doing? We are sitting and being with ourselves unconditionally. We're just allowing everything to be exactly what it is. Now, of course, there's all of the noise from the mind. Of course, it's part of it. When we are doing that without any distractions, we practice feeling and we come to a place of feeling. And when the mind is calm enough, we start to really just feel. And what do we feel? We feel the consequences of our actions. It cannot be any other way. Your life is the consequences of your actions. It cannot be any other way. This is the law of nature. This is Dharma. This is karma. It cannot be any other way. So when we are sitting and actually feeling, we're feeling the consequences of our actions. Now then, when my life is a life of dishonesty and a life of lies, a life of unfaithfulness, a life of hurting, then what am I feeling? I'm feeling all of that. I am feeling all of that. If your life is a life of horniness, porno, masturbation, you know, this was me, and this is many people on this earth right now. But what are we feeling? We're feeling exactly that. We're feeling exactly that. If we're going through a time of anger, if we're resentful, then what are we feeling? We're feeling exactly that. We're feeling the resentfulness. We're feeling the consequences of our actions. When we get really deep, we feel the consequences of our thoughts. Can you imagine that? We feel the consequences of our thoughts. Now, and this, with time, this becomes our inner compass. Because I feel that when I do this, I feel the consequence of that. And when I do this, I feel the consequence of that. Which means all of the people I've hurt, I have felt it. All of the unfaithfulness, the lies, dishonesty, I have felt it. And this is why I have had meditations of complete heartbreak. This is why I've had meditations of completely tears and cried as I have never cried before. It's because I have sat down and I have allowed myself to feel the consequences of my actions. This is why. And what do we learn about this? Well, very clearly we learn, I don't want this. I don't want this. What does that mean? That means I have to change. Woo! There's a man there. And then we're like, heavyweights, uno más. Hay uno más. Oi! What is then the conclusion of this? Well, the conclusion of this is that I don't want this. Then what do I have to do? I have to change. I have to change my behavior. I have to change my actions. I have to change my habits. It's simple as that. I know that I don't want that because I felt the consequence. I'm not making a logical conclusion. Oh, this is wrong. I should not do that. This is wrong. I don't want this. It's not a logical conclusion. I know in my core, I don't want that. Now, that being said, I have also had the most beautiful moments in my life while meditating. I've had the most beautiful moments of intense love that I cannot smile anymore. I cannot smile more on my face. Then my face is going to break. I have cried with tears of happiness, thinking about all of the people I love, thinking about this beautiful life that I love so very dearly. And I'm telling you, this is what you want, because what is that showing us? That is showing, what do I want? What's important? What really matters in this life for me? It may be different from you, but for me, what really matters? Love matters. Relationship matters. Forgiveness matters. So this is finding our way in life through feeling the consequences of our actions. And I'm telling you that this is what you want, because now you know that your way is a way of truth. We don't meditate to find peace. We don't meditate for peace. We meditate for truth. And truth brings peace. And now you know the truth of who you are. You know the truth of who you want to be. You know the truth of your way, and you know your way is a way of truth because you have felt it. That will create peace. Because one of the reasons why we don't have peace is because we are not happy about our way in life. We are hurting people. We're doing things that we don't want to do. Then of course our mind cannot be peaceful. That's why we don't sit to meditate to get peace. We sit to meditate for truth, for feeling the consequences of our actions, and truth will lead to peace. Because now you're going to live a life of what you want to do. You're going to live a life of what you know is important. You're not going to waste your time with stupid stuff. You're going to do exactly what you know is important, because you have felt that this is truth. And let me give you a beautiful example of exactly this. I don't know if you have a partner, but let's say you have a partner, and I hope you have a loving relationship. Let's say that you and your partner are in a huge conflict together. Huge conflict together. He or she, your partner, is triggered and is hurt and is telling you that. And then you get triggered because you're also triggered and you're also hurt. And you want to tell your partner how hurt you are and how much your partner hurt you. But you know that when doing this, it's just escalating the conflict. It's hard not to say something that will hurt your partner. And what your partner is saying is hurting you. Okay, but in that moment you have this awareness of what is truly important. What's more important? Your own self-importance of how hurt you are? Or is it that your partner feels supported, seen and heard in their time of pain, in their time of difficulty? The answer is crystal clear, but it's not crystal clear when we are triggered. But when we have sat down and felt the consequence of our actions, felt all of the time that we just allowed ourselves to be triggered, that we allowed ourselves to say things that we will regret afterwards, when we have actually felt the consequences of the things that we have done, and we know within in that moment, and we can act in truth. But it's not easy to sit with ourselves, especially in moments of pain. That's why we have to keep on doing it. When you're in deep inner pain, it's not easy to just sit and let me just sit and feel everything. It's not easy. It's not fun. But what are we doing? We are eliminating the habit of reactivity. The habit of reactivity is the habit that will bring more suffering. It just brings more suffering. It's the habit of, oh, I got hurt, and then you get mad and you say something you regret. It's that habit. We're eliminating that habit, the habit of reactivity. How are we doing that? We're doing that because we're just sitting. We're just sitting with ourselves and feeling everything we're going through. Even though we may be triggered, even though we may be resentful, even though we may have a heartbreak, we are just sitting there with ourselves, feeling what we are going through, with honor and respect and self-care and self-love. This means we're taking responsibility. And taking responsibility means that we are opening up to a life of responding. We're saying goodbye to the life of reactivity, and we're opening up to the life of responding. And this is a life of heaven at times and a hell at other times, of course, as everything else. This is the life you want, a life of responding. And I have a question for you. What do we call a friend that is there for us whatever we're going through? That is there for us in our times of pitifulness, our times of anger, our times of pain, our times of hurtfulness, through thick and thin. What do we call that one friend? We call that one friend our best friend. And this is how meditation will facilitate your journey of becoming your own best friend. So about the question, should you meditate? You can figure out for yourself. But if you want, here's a simple meditation to get started. Thanks for watching and be happy.